What's the next shoe to drop? You've certainly been on top of this, Mark. Are we going to find out, like, in the next few days?
The Joe quashed the investigation in '98?
Well, I can give you a rumor, and I can give you something I think might happen.
Okay.
Give us both. Give us both.
Okay, I hear there's a rumor that there will be a more shocking developments from the Second Mile Foundation. And hold on to your stomachs, boys. This is gross. I will, I'll use the only language I can. That Jerry Sandusky and Second Mile were pimping out young boys to rich donors.
Okay.
It was being investigated by two prominent columnists, even as I speak.
Wow.
The other thing I think that may eventually become uncovered, and I talk about this in my original article back in April, is that I think you'll find out that Jerry Sandusky was told that he had to retire in exchange for a cover-up. If you look at the timeline, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
It surely does.
Absolutely, and you are absolutely right about that. But, Mark, he kept coming back with the kids, so they told me he couldn't.
Exactly right. He quit in his coaching prime. He was mentioned for the Virginia head coaching job at one point, but my opinion is when Sandusky quit, everybody knew, not just the Penn State, I think it was a very poorly kept secret among college football in general, and that is why he never coached the college football again and retired at the relatively young age of 55. Young for a coach, certainly.
Would you be a bit surprised if a month, a week, a year from now, we found out that everybody knew what this guy was about?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was that way at all. I think that Second Mile was the perfect cover. It might have got some people whispering, just about this old guy always with young kids, but I don't think anybody dreamed. I think the only people who knew were the people who knew.
Yeah, the Associated Press is reporting that they've shut down the Great Pyramid and other pyramids because of reports there'd be Illuminati rituals there, but they're shutting it down so they can't have the rituals, the AP reports, but shutting it down is the way to have the rituals. And by the way, world leaders went in 2000, which really wasn't the new millennium, 2001 was, to the Great Pyramid and actually did weird rituals on TV. I taped it on VHS, never re-aired it, meant to, and could never find it again. But I know a lot of you did see it. It was all these fireworks and weird giant TV screens with devils marching around and all these world leaders. And it was a public Illuminati ritual. And in AP reports, there are rituals worldwide today. So that's in my stack. I'm going to be getting to that coming up as well. Then Bob Chapman always joins us with the latest on Penn State. You name it. Stay with us. Okay, my friends, this is going to be an unbelievably jam-packed transmission today. It is 11/11/11. I don't put stock in numerology, but from China to the United States, from France to Mexico, from Chile to Japan, throughout history, every ruling elite is obsessed with the occult and numerology. And we'll ask David Icke, who studied these people in depth, exactly why that is. And he's always exposed the fact that it's pedophile rings in the last 100 years at least that run the planet, that the British royal family are really Transylvanian, that they're a bunch of body part eaters. And now that's come out in the news, that they're not hundreds of years ago, but even more recently, eating human body parts. That they have attendants that take care of their every intimate detail, and that they're into all sorts of sick behavior. And now Prince Charles says he might move to Transylvania, and that's where their lineage comes from, and on and on and on. It gets more and more weird with the whole Penn State situation. And obviously, Paterno has gotten criminal defense lawyers, and he better. Because he knew about this for over a decade and did nothing as it was ongoing. This was going on since 1994 when he knew. And the school president knew. Now, I did reading the MSNBC headline. I did some more research this morning. It is true that the police were contacted in the town, and the police there at the college police, and the grand juries knew as early as 2000, had hearings in 2002, 2005, 2008. So the whole group is complicit, basically, and that's why he may not get indicted. And if they find out that he went to the police, we don't know who went, and then they didn't do anything, then he's off the hook. But they all need to be brought in for questioning, and you can't send the FBI in to do this. I mean, it was run by J. Edgar Hoover, who was part of the whole club. I mean, it's well documented, running around in women's dresses and going to big orgy parties, and famous witnesses, Cohen's girlfriend, the famous lawyer, reportedly saying she saw Hoover having sex with, quote, young boys. You've got some of that alluded to in the new film coming out that Clint Eastwood's putting out. Reportedly, the FBI kind of threatened him over it. But that's why this has gotten so bad, because these people get into power and they just start recruiting more and more and more. What's that? Oh, it is 11/11 right now. But it's 11/11 24 times around the world today. So it's 11/11, and yes, they were worried, I guess, 7-8 hours ago over in the Middle East, and all these weirdos were trying to get in to do rituals, and so they said, we're shutting it down, but we'll have some contingents inside the pyramids ourselves. And again, I'm sure nowadays somebody can dig it out. I saw it on PBS. They did 24-hour broadcast from the Great Pyramid, and they had all this weird rituals going on, and they dialed to French TV, and a national concert there where the guy in French was saying, oh, Lucifer, we love you. And I'm sitting there watching this as they went around the world on PBS, and I was taping it. And back then it was myself, my wife, and maybe one other crew member, and I never even had time to edit it, get it off the VHS or air it. Somebody at a PBS station has that 24-hour broadcast with, weird devil worship right on television. It was bizarre. But here it is today. This is out of Associated Press. Egypt closes Great Pyramid after rumors of rituals. But you notice the closing of it then allows the rituals. And that's come out in the news that they allow elites in the Supreme Antiquities Department to close it down and go into it and do weird stuff. And world leaders were in attendance in 2000, including George Herbert Walker Bush. And they were in religious rapture as this was happening. So you can say all this is silly and stupid until you've been to Bohemian Grove or until you watch the footage ABC News got of Skull and Bones. They're taking it deadly serious. When they were worshiping Lucifer and doing mock human sacrifices, ABC News videotaped that. The most powerful secret society in the United States, undoubtedly Skull and Bones, that is just a chapter of the Illuminati, and they themselves admit that. And then I snuck into Bohemian Grove, which is a larger recruiting arm of that, and watched them do their ritual to Moloch and to do a mock human sacrifice of a child. They claim it was mock, and the old men were in rapture and were grinding their teeth in religious exaltation. It was similar to being in a, Baptist church when the preacher's praying for somebody who's sick in the congregation, but the opposite. It was similar, but the opposite. That loving feeling of people caring and everything. It was the opposite. It was like a feeling of rapine. And so I was like, wow, this is really interesting. They're like, shut up. Ugh. Mike Hanson's like, oh, and they looked at him like they were about to kill him as Mike snuck in with me. And, there's footage of us in that crowd, those men just, And so you can say, oh, it's just some stupid play they're doing. No, it's not. They're deadly serious about it. Remember, decades ago, people warned about this. People are like, oh, that's not going on. Yes, it's going on. Here it is. Egypt closes Great Pyramid after rumors of rituals. Egypt's Antiquities Authority closed the largest of Giza pyramids Friday, following rumors that groups would try to hold spiritual ceremonies on the site at 11:11 a.m. on November 11, 2011. The authority's head, Mustafa Amin, said in a statement Friday that the pyramid, also known as Cheops, would be closed to visitors until Saturday morning for necessary maintenance. Yes, I'm sure. This is all the big devil cult that's into these pyramids. It's their symbol of the New World Order. The closure follows a string of unconfirmed reports in local media that unidentified groups would try to hold Jewish or Masonic rites. Well, they admit that Aleister Crowley went there and did them. on the site to take advantage of mysterious powers coming from the pyramid on the rare date. Amin called all reports of planned ceremonies on the site completely lacking in truth. The complex's director, Ali Al-Asfar, said Friday that an Egyptian company requested permission last month to hold an event called Hug the Pyramid, in which 120 people would join hands at the ancient burial structure. Yeah, that's their little cute political correct thing. Let's just call it Hugging the Pyramid. We'll all join hands and get the power off this thing. That's what the Illuminists believe. Pyramids give them power. And we'll just tell people it's a liberal hugging. That's what the occult's all about, is the general public not knowing what they're seeing, and then they give you a cover story. Oh, these are gunshot detectors we're putting up all over your town under Homeland Security. And then years later, they're microphones. We're listening to every word you say. Deputy head of Homeland Security said, you'll never know when we're listening or not. Ha, ha, ha. Again, deception, killing, stealing, destroying. They want to watch the world burn. It hit me again this morning when I read a particular article I'm going to get to here in a moment, that's the globalists really are demon-possessed. And again, this has never been a heavy religious show. I am a Christian. I have a relationship with Jesus Christ, but I cover the news. But the more you study these people, it's really true. Even if you're an atheist and don't believe in God. I see atheists send me emails saying, I like your news and analysis, but please stop pushing religion on us. Listen, if I wanted to have a religious show, I could have one on the weekend, or I could switch to that. That's not what I'm doing here. But that's a real element of this. In fact, it's the top element. It's the main element. It's the center of this system. The globalists are into a religion. And even if you don't believe in a religion that, say, pygmies believe in Africa, worshiping animals or whatever, or you don't believe in Islam, or you don't believe in Christianity or whatever, the point is there's still people that believe that, and if you were an anthropologist, you would study that. But they act like, no, I don't even look at that. Well, that religion affects things. And I'm telling you, the elite have a Luciferian religion. They are not devil worshippers. They believe Lucifer is God. Now, it tends to be Satanists that serve them as their mid-level, and then below that, compartmentalized people who actually mean well and are under peer pressure control. And then that's pretty much the power strategy of the pyramid, is you got those that actually believe the false lie, the deception, that give power to the beast system. You've got the Satanist, and then mercenaries and control freaks and sadists and wicked people beneath that. And then at the top, the very small core of the New World Order are heavily deceived, but actually believe that they are bringing in this enlightened New Age world government to cleanse the earth of the human scourge, to reduce the